I'd like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
Hello, Cowboy Nation. How y'all doing, Cowboy Nation? How y'all doing? Man, I wanted to step right in right quick. I know some other guys are probably coming on, but when I get a topic on my mind, I just want to go ahead and give it out there. I could have probably just went ahead and recorded something, and maybe I could express the topic a little stronger. Hopefully, this live stream, I've been having a little problems with my live staying connected, but hopefully it'll stay connected for me to put this live stream out right quick, and we don't have any problems. If anybody's out there, man, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter. We welcome you to make sure you follow me on Twitter, and as well as being on this live stream here, man. We really appreciate you to come in and share this video and share it to other people. And when you share with some tell people how you feel about old Coach Marv, and let people know. So when it goes out there, other people will get in here and join in and jump aboard and try to support old Coach Marv in this endeavor to try to get to the point where we get monetized, and then we can start taking super chats and all those type of things. If you like my content, what I'm about to give, or you have something, please, send me a message or something of that nature, so that I can make things better, or try to talk about a topic you may want to see. If you feel like you can support the channel, so we can try to grow and get some other stuff, man. Try to get some more equipment so we can be more precise in all our doings. Here's my Cash App. My Cash App is PBS 222. Any donation will be great until we get to the point where we get monetized, and then we can start working off a lot of other stuff, man. But today I want to talk about, if y'all might have seen in my topic, and it's going to talk about today. I just want to talk about right quick with how things are going to change for Dak Prescott and Micah this season. How things are going to change for Dak Prescott and Micah this season. We've been hearing a lot of different stuff, man. What's going on? It's been a lot of stuff that's been going on, and I think maybe we might be on the dead period, but there's a couple of just very big notes that I want you to make sure that we understand how things are going to change. Two things is happening that show me things are going to change. First, let's talk about how things are going to change for Micah. Micah is going to get a contract with the Cowboys. I'm going to leave all this other stuff you're hearing about him going some other place. It's going to happen, because he's not being bid. There's no other bidders, so they're going to get it done. If they were going to trade him, they would have traded him before the trade deadline, so they can get trade access. So they're not going to trade him. This is going to be done, but there's going to be new expectations and a new role. Another thing that happened, that when Schottenheimer said he had talked to Micah early in the season, talking about Micah having a bigger leadership role. DeMarcus Lawrence is out the door now. He is probably the senior veteran of the starters that's on this defense. So now he has a much better, a bigger leadership role, and it's not always your best player that's got a leadership role. That don't always be your best player that has to be the leader. So when he's taking that role. He has to be the identity of the culture. So whatever your culture, if it's a defense is being set, your leader has to be identity of the culture. And if that culture is being physical, playing fast, stopping the run, he has to be the forefront of that. There's been some talk about them being a multiple defense. There's been some talk about recently about them moving him around. And I posted on Twitter, man, on X. I hate to say Twitter, but on X, that for Michael Parsons to reach his greatest potential, it's what I think his greatest potential is. He has to be moved around, and he's more effective if he's been moved around and he's attacking from the middle of the field. That way he can use all his assets. His speed from sideline, his speed, his tenacity, him overpowering running backs, he's too fast for guards or the centers to block him in pass blocking. He can dominate he can transfer speed to power. He can work on an offensive tackle. He can't be double teamed. One-on-one situations, he's going to have an opportunity to dominate. Plus, he's going to cause a havoc with anything the offense is going to do because he would have to be taken account of, and you may have some guys that are going to have to block him, maybe not good enough to block him. I have said for the last 2 years, Michael Parsons could be the first 125, 130 tackle, 17 sack, 3 interception football player. There has not in a single season there's not a defensive player that has done that. I say that because Bobby Wagner 2 years ago at the Rams with the Rams had 125 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 2 interceptions in his late 30s, in his 30s. And we know Bobby Wagner is slow. Michael Parsons in his first year, just blitzing from the middle, had 5.5 sacks, and then he had another some sacks from the outside. He is a dominating force. Zach Martin said in training camp 2 years ago that Michael Parsons in the middle of the field playing linebacker and not knowing where he comes from, and you have to dedicate a small guy to beat him. He messes up your whole your whole blocking slides. If you bring him from the middle, from the outside, you can't block him with a small. I've talked about this with most time in pass blocking, you want big on big. You want lineman on lineman, and you want running backs on linebackers and tight ends on linebackers or blitzers. But with Michael Parsons, with the capabilities of him being a defensive lineman, blitz wise, you can't consider how you recognize him. Do you recognize him as a big or you recognize him as a small? He's got the athletic ability of better than small. And he has the power because he has played in that power position as big. This would cause havoc with the rest of the team, with the rest of the offenses. We'll just take Michael Parsons being in a tip-top shape. That's another thing I've been hearing lately from these coaching staff about being in shape. This would put Michael to be in another level of shape, not just a defensive end shape. He has to be in a shape that the only guys that's got that type of ability can be. And I always say we talk about this because we know that this guy can do it. Nobody talks about nothing if you don't think a guy can do it. And this guy can do it. And he would help this defense out a great deal. And he would become generational. Now, this is not no slight on Michael Parsons, but this is how things are going to change when you seize the mantle, and now you're going to seize the mantle of being probably the second highest paid player on your team. And that is not and the expectation doesn't come because of the salary. Salary does not make a player a good football player. What makes them a good football player is how they affect the game and what did they do to totally affect the football game. And I think Michael Parsons can be a weapon that can totally affect the football game. It goes back to my hashtag long time ago. Defense is a weapon. Hashtag defense is a weapon. People look at weapons and wide receivers and running backs, but defense is a weapon. We have seen time and time again in Super Bowl history where defenses were weapons and they led the charge of winning it. Again, I'm gonna tell you the history about this team. When I talk about Micah has to be that guy to propel this defense along with the rest of this defense. We're not saying it's all on him. But I always said this, the NFC East has always been won about a team that has the best defense. Check your stats. The team that has the best defense in this league, in this division, usually wins the division. And this division has won more Super Bowls than any other division in football. And this division has won more Super Bowls with a running game and a defense than they ever have won with this offense alone. So if history continues to repeat itself all the way to last year, why would we not still say we need to take that blueprint? But I just said we're going to be blamed, but there's going to be a change for Michael Parsons. And this change for Michael Parsons has to be the leadership of he has to believe in his heart that he can be that guy that if he does those stats that I'm talking about, 130 tackles, 17 sacks, I think it'll be easy. 3 interceptions, I don't know how many forced fumbles because he's around the ball making tackles. I hate to say this. I'm not going to, we're not trying to put him in that category, but he would be in a different category than even the great Lawrence Taylor. He would be in another type of category. And if his team wins, he would be in a whole category of himself. Now, that's a lot to ask for a young man. But this is where we have to understand and see if the young man wants to be unique. He said something in training camp 2 years ago. He said, I'm not worried about sacks. I'm worried about being an impact player. Well, he's going to be more of an impact player moved around than just being an impact player this on rushing. The last thing I want to say about with Michael when I talk about that, I'm going to ask y'all fans. A lot of your fans out there, whoever may watch this when y'all share this video, y'all might watch this and y'all going to say, man, Michael, he needs to be that defensive end, man. He needs to rush that passer, man. That's where that's the site where you got to affect the passer. But ask yourself this. Wouldn't you love to see Micah on plays in the run game, making plays in the backfield? Wouldn't you love to see Micah actually getting the interception and returning it with his running skills? Wouldn't you like to see Micah on getting slobber knocker hits on when they try to run a sweep and he's there and making a tackle? Wouldn't you like to see your favorite player involved in just about every defensive snap? Somewhere down the line, he's a part of it. Wouldn't that be more exciting than just seeing him? If they run the ball, you don't hear nothing about him. If they throw a quick pass, he doesn't affect that. And you just sitting waiting for that sack. And you may get that 1 or 2 sacks. But wouldn't it be exciting to see him make 10 tackles in the game? Maybe strip a fumble, tip a pass, get an interception, still come up with 2 sacks, quarterback hits, just dominating the game. Wouldn't that be more exciting? See, I think sometimes we get wrapped up into saying, oh man, this is about rushing the passes. That's where, that's where they pay. But no, they pay guys that affects the game, that puts a mark on the game, that regardless of where it is, you have to You can't take me out of this game. And that's what you always want your best defensive player to do. You want him where you cannot take him out the game. If you say we're going to run the ball, he's going to affect the game in the run game because we're going to put him in spots where you ain't going to be able to get to him and he's going to blow that up. If you want to throw the ball to the running back, there's going to be times that he's not going to blitz and he's going to have that 4.3 speed in the flats, making tackles in the backfield. There's going to be times when you're going to throw the ball across the middle and he's going to fake like he's blitzing and he's going to get his hand on the ball. And if he intercepted with that 4.3 speed and the running back carried the reason he got, you might see that take it all the way back to the house. This is the type of guy that Micah Parsons can be. But just lining up on the defensive end, you're kind of going to limit the greatness of what he could be. Think about this. For the guys that's in the PlayStation, in the John Madden era, when you play with Micah Parsons on your team, and he's a defensive end, don't you got him going all over the field, rushing the quarterback and going all over the field and making plays? Don't you use him if he's got that speed? You're floating him back in the passing zones to make interceptions because he's Michael Parsons and that's the guy that you click on and play with? Don't you have him all over the field making plays? This is what we want to do in real life. We want to make him the ultimate piece on this defense. But that's going to change. If we do that, it's going to take a new dedication from Michael Parsons. That's going to be hard work. Nothing comes easy. None of the glory comes without the hard work. And this would be a monumental task for him to do to be that type of player. But I don't say that in a negative connotation. I say that because I believe the guy can do it. But believing and saying, hey, he could potentially. Hey man, there's a lot of people that have failed on potential, and there's a lot of people who've been disappointed because of potential. There's been a lot of coaches been fired because of potential. In some aspects, you have to make sure that we have to challenge these young men and turn that potential into reality and kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy of doing. And sometimes you have to challenge these great young men to be able to push them to another level. Again, Coach Marv said it again. Talent. Now I'm going to say this every time I get live or a show. There's only 4 things a coach can do with talent. He cannot make talent. He's only can acquire it. He comes in with it. He drafts it. He picks it. But he has to learn how to motivate the talent. He has to refine the talent skills. He has to hold that talent accountable, that talent player accountable. And then he has to put that talent in the right positions for that talent to shine. And that's only because this coaching staff needs to challenge the guy that's going to be the leader. Last thing on I said is about Matt Wiegelfeld said he wants and I think Michael said this before, that he wants a defense where nobody can't be criticized. Can't take constructive criticism because we all in this together. If that philosophy stays in there and they adapt that philosophy, they'll make each other better. That's a part about holding your talent accountable. That's about motivating your talent. See, these are all the things you can do with a talent. So that's what that is. And they're talking about putting Micah into a spot where he's going to be a better place where he can make more plays. So things will change with Micah in this coming season. Now, let's talk on the offense end. Things will change with Dak Prescott. There's been some things that show some changes that's going to come for Dak Prescott. One, Schottenheimer had a question, and he was talking about they're working on some things with Dak. and he made the comment of this, and I love when he made this comment. He said, "Yes, there's some things that Dak needs to improve on." First time I've heard any coach say that that's had Dak. But he said, yes, there's some things he needs to improve on. And he said if any quarterback gets to a point where they don't feel like they need to improve, it's time for them to retire. And yes, I love that. But every quarterback has a chance have to improve. Second thing, I'm hearing Schottenheimer talk about the culture of this team. It's not all on Dak. He's telling Dak, he has said our head coach has said that we're gonna go as far as this offense is gonna go as far as the offensive line is gonna take us. This is the first that I've heard of a coach doing this that's been with Dak. Because now they're shifting the brunt of what the focus is still gonna be on Dak, but the focus is to put the emphasis on other spots. Just like when Dak was a rookie. They didn't say we were going to go as far as Dak could take us back in 2016. I believe it was 16 he came in. And as the season grew, Dak started to make the big plays. But Dak was a part. Dak had to trust the rest of his teammates because he was finding his way. So those two things, when we talk about Micah, we said there's going to be added responsibility. But it seems like with Dak, Schottenheimer is taking away responsibility. Now, we can say, okay, what you mean by that, coach? You know, the haters out there are gonna love that because the first thing they're gonna say is, "Oh, well, that's what I'm saying, man. You know, they don't trust Dak." No, he's trying to get Dak to understand that the weight of trying to carry this team and the weight of trying to say that I have to be that guy is not always a great leadership quality. See, Dak got to understand that you have to utilize the guys and you have to allow those guys to shine in their spots for the overall team to win. Let me give you a case in point what I'm talking about. Jordan had to learn how to trust that his players that he played with can make the plays, and he didn't have to make them all. He had to get a coach in there that had to tell him, say, hey, this ain't about you, Jordan. Can you carry it? Because the media tried to push it all on Jordan. The media wanted to push it all on Jordan about can he get over the Pistons? Can he win a championship? And Jordan taking that load on started to try to push too much and not trust the rest of the guys. Then came Phil to say, hey, Mike, you got to trust the rest of your guys to play better defense to help us. You got to trust the other guys to make that last shot sometimes. You got to trust the other guys to do the things that y'all need to do to win a game, and you got to be able to alleviate some of that pressure off of yourself. That doesn't stop you from being the leader, but that shows that you are putting the emphasis of the accountability on everybody. See, that's the thing about leadership sometimes people don't understand. Yes, you want to lead, but the great leaders builds other leaders. Great leaders build other leaders. If you're a leader and you don't build other people to learn how to follow and lead in somewhat, you're not a great leader. Dak has been here enough to give that leadership quality, but now he has to say, hey, you know what my coach said? I don't have to throw the ball 50 times. I don't have to make the play. We're going to lean on this offensive line. I got receivers. If I just get them the ball in space, they're going to make plays. I got to be able to lean on my teammates because we have to do this as a group. Because we don't do this as a group, Dak, you fail. So you got to learn how to be able to trust your teammates. So how we think that this again is going to be different for Dak? Yes. This is going to be the first time, Cowboy Nation, that Dak Prescott is been in a brand new offense with maybe none of the same, maybe some of the same terminology, but not the same philosophy. He went from Scott Linehan philosophy, who Kellen Moore played under Scott Linehan, who had a philosophy of Scott Linehan, which Jason Garrett had a work with Scott Linehan. You had Kellen Moore. We go into Mike McCarthy, where when we look at the offense last couple of years, it didn't change none. It was still that. The only reason they ran the ball with Jason Garrett here because Jason wanted a physical presence. But now you got a whole nother, yes, Schottenheim was here, but Schottenheim had no input in the offense. He was just there by name only. Because none of the offense looked like what Schottenheim had done in the past. It looked just like what Kellen Moore was there. And if we really want to be honest, Kellen Moore left here because he really didn't have control of the offense. Mike McCarthy had really control of the offense because he didn't change none. And Kellen went to someplace else and he ran the ball a little bit more. We ran the ball actually more with Kellen Moore than we ran with Mike McCarthy. But that's neither here or there. But this is going to change for Dak because we get some other words in when Dak was talking. He talked about getting back to the play action pass. That's a staple for Schottenheimer. He talked about Schottenheimer talking in the press conference about doing stuff that he did with Russell Wilson. None of this was what Dak has been in the past. So this is going to be a change for Dak. Dak listen, Dak hadn't depended on the running game to set the table since his rookie year. Maybe his second year. But after he got to his third or fourth year, the media in our Cowboy Nation destroyed that. Because once he became quarterback, we felt as the media or our Cowboy Nation, I'm just being honest, that we wanted to force him to be a gunslinger. Because we let the media use this dink and dunk. And listen, if he was dink and dunk and won 14 games, why would you want to change that? It goes back to my philosophy again. I'm always saying my philosophy or my analogy. If you're the big brother and you have a little brother, and you and your brother are sitting y'all playing sport and playing basketball in the backyard, and you the big brother, you 3 or 4 years old, you killing your little brother by posting him up and scoring every time. You winning every game. He can't beat you. You're killing him. And he keeps saying, well, I bet you if you didn't do all that posting up and shot jump shots, you can't win. And eventually you say, well, I must just start shooting jump shots. And then you start losing. Who's the dummy? Did your little brother get better? Or he just brought you down, made you change up and leave what you were doing best? If that was working for Dak, what he care about that? No, it makes Tom Brady great. Tom don't care what y'all say. Tom don't get wrapped up if he said he didn't never get wrapped up about if he got a passing title. Tom didn't get wrapped up if he won MVP. Tom said at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to trust my teammates to do what they are going to do. We're going to trust each other to be excellent. And I win Super Bowls. And I'll let y'all talk about who got the most money. I'll let y'all talk about who got the most passing yards. I'll let y'all talk about who won the most MVPs. But at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is winning. And I'm going to do that more than the rest of them. And regardless of what y'all try to bait, y'all try to put out there, I think Schottenheimer is getting Dak to understand that this is not you, Dak. It don't have to be all. We got to deprogram you. Something else came up the other day, and I posted this on X. In Boss Cowboys Sports, man, me and Boss talked about this. I talked about this in the live, in our live shows, our watch parties for 2 years. About us using the running backs in the passing game. Every time that we drop the ball off to the running back in the passing game, most times we got big yards. But it seemed like when our philosophy, and this comes from your offense. Let me explain when I talk about philosophy. Every coach is different. It's different offenses, but every coach is different. Some coaches, when we talk about the throwing the ball to the running backs, we talk about check downs. Some coaches have a philosophy that a check down is the last result in an offense. I don't care. Even you may try to use your feet first before you throw the ball to a check down. Now, quarterbacks that do that usually don't give their running backs or the check downs enough time to make a play because the ball is coming out late. And by the time it does come out, the defense can rally. Then you have people like Tom Brady, where the check down and throwing the ball to the running back was somewhat of a priority. And why was it a priority? He would read one, he would read two, bam, I'm going to the check down. Why? He probably could wait a little longer and maybe two might break open. Option one might break open. But what he felt was that he wanted to always have positive plays. And if he got the ball to the running back quick enough, because he didn't get what he wanted right then, it was always going to be a positive play. And every time that you put a positive play on against a defense, it hurts the defense. If you get 3-4 yards on first down, if you get 4 yards on second down, every time you have positive plays against a defense, it weakens the defense. I'm just giving you things the defensive coordinators talk about on the sideline. Defensive coordinators want negative plays or no play. What we call negative play is a zero game play or incompletion, or a negative play we make you stop you, or we stop you within 1 or 2 yards. We consider those negative plays. If we can get more, if defensive coordinator can get more negative plays against you, that's going to put more pressure on your offense, which makes you behind the sticks. Now we are in control. Now we make you put pressure on you. Then you may turn the ball over. Then you may have a big penalty. You have a chance to make mistakes because of pressure on you. But if you're getting positive yards, you put the pressure on who? On the defense. So Tom said, I'm going to always get positive plays. So if Tom Brady threw the ball on first down, if receiver one was not open right then, if number two went on it, he didn't even hesitate at all. He was dropping it off to the running back. Why? Because first down is the most important down, and you got to have a positive play. He didn't try to force it. He didn't say, I'm going to wait for number one, the one wide receiver, the option one to get open. He didn't wait to say, man, maybe two to get open, and I can get a big play. No, because if you wait and hold it and you don't get a play, it doesn't come off of it. You get a sack or you throw an incomplete pass. Now who's in control? The defense in control. You just stump your own team because the check down right now is a positive play. Also, teams that throw check downs on a regular basis, they have a philosophy that says, I'm throwing this because that receiver that running back is open now. And in the open field, if he break a tackle, it could be a big game. Well, we had people like Tony Pollard. When we had Ezekiel Elliott who could catch the ball, do you understand if you gave Ezekiel Elliott the ball in the flash by 5 times in the game, you're going to have defensive backs starting to turn down tackling that big guy? Yeah. And Tony Pollard was probably going to make you a big play. So when I hear Schottenheimer, when I hear Blue, the running back that we got out of Texas, said that this offense is going to be, that they're going to believe in throwing the ball to the running backs because that's what he came out of college and he had great hands. Now I'm saying, now we're making the game easier for your quarterback because we are giving him more options to get positive plays. What's another reason why a team likes to do a check down? Now throw the ball in the flats, throw the ball or the running back curling across the middle. The running back goes in the middle. He goes up the seam. He gets in the middle of the field. He's on the side. Running backs everywhere. What's another good reason why? Is because with the running back going to those places, you expand the field for the defense have to cover the whole field, which makes more room for your receivers like Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson to work in bigger space. Because if you're going to take the check down away, now I'm going to just say this. If a team say, okay, we're not going to let Blue catch the ball in the flat because he's going to act like he's blocking, but he's going in the flat, we're going to make sure he can't get the ball. That means the defense has to dedicate a person to go to him right now, man to man. If you take a guy and run with a guy man to man and he just run out in the flat, now the middle of the field is open because your linebackers out there in the flat. Now that gives more area for Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson to work. How many times in the last 3 years we've seen, if you go back and watch all 22, Dak got the ball, he patted the ball, they took away option one, they take away option two, running back goes in the flat, he's standing in the flat, there's another guy that's coming out there, but the guy is 10 yards off of him. And by the time we get to him, it's the last resort. When we give it to him, they already close on him. Not because Dak is a person that messed up, it's because the offense didn't believe in Dak's the part of a weapon. They wanted to use it as a last result. Other teams used it as a weapon or to set up big plays. Hey man, please like and comment and share this. You're getting information, man, of the how the thinking goes about just a little check down and how much that puts fear into a defense coordinator. Because if you got a back that got speed like Blue, and you get him out and you get him that check down, you looking for Lamb and Pickens, and you make that you come out, you do the play action pass, you do the play action fake, and you looking for Lamb and Pickens, and they're going down the field, and then you got Ferguson going in the seam route. Your linebackers try to adjust to them because they're not trying to, and you throw the ball in the flat with Blue catching it in stride quickly. You're gonna make that linebacker almost lose his mind because he got to tackle a guy that run a 4.240 in the open field, and if he know he miss it, guess what? 20, 30. Sometimes he's bumping his head on the whole horse. Now, if that happens one time in the game, the space for the rest of your players gets bigger. That's just the passing game. And when I heard that, I said, that's going to be new for Dak. That he has to trust a positive plays. And then with the next one, what's going to be new for Dak is that we're going to play our play action. And how do you play our play action? There is no play action that people don't believe that you're going to hurt them by running the ball. Now you say, well, coach, well, where we get set down with a 2-yard gain, or maybe let's say we in the game and we done ran the ball 10 times. We only had 10 carries, and we only getting 2.5 yards a carry. Why keep running the ball, coach? If we ain't gonna get them a 2.5 yard carry, why keep running the ball? You don't know if you can run the ball in 10 carries. I think Henny, man, he does great work, man. And he's been battling with people on X because they've been battling about the playoff games. And he kept pointing out about Dak has never had a decent running game in a playoff game. And that ain't got nothing to do with the running backs or the offensive line. It got to do with is we went the philosophy to say we're not even going to try to run the game. We got 2 or 3 games in the playoffs where our backs didn't even get 20 carries combined. You can't tell me you can run the football if you run the ball 10 times. You can't tell me a running back is not successful if you only gave him the ball 6 times. If you're looking for a running back to get the ball 6 times, he's going to average 7-8 yards a carry. You're looking at John Madden on PlayStation or Xbox. But in playoff football, you got to hammer at that tree. If you look at the chopper tree down with one swing, your name's John Henry or whoever it is. But that don't happen. And Dak, when I said things are going to change, hopefully this offense is going to say, hey, Dak, to get your big passes, because we're not going to baby your passes. We're not going to have you have 20 completions for 200 yards or 21 completions and you got 105 yards. How many games last year that goes in the first half? He had 16, 17 completions. He only got $130. And you're not using the check down. You're not checking down, and you got 130 yards on 16 catches, on 16 completions. Think about it. There was a lot of games that Dak had like that. What we're going to do with Dak now is Schottenheimer going to say, listen, Russell didn't have no 40 completions that have a 200, 300-yard game because Russell went down the field when I was with him because they body blowed you. They ran the ball, even though you got resistant on it. They were committed to it to say, we're going to get the run in. And soon as you say that you're going to be stout enough to stop us because we committed, we're not going to pity pat with you with a out or a stop pattern. We're going to hit you with a deep over route. We're going to hit you with a deep seam route. We're going to hit you with a deep dig, a 20-yard dig in. We're going to hit you where our guys going to be averaging 14, 15 yards a pop. And that's going to come out the first half and have 10 completions for $130. And maybe a touch. Because we're going to control the game with the running game. And off of the control, we're going to make big plays off the passing game. That philosophy has worked in football since the beginning of time. I hate to see a team go out there and pity-pat throwing the football. Talking about, oh, man, we know we substitute the running game with a short passing game. That's some BS. And most teams that do that, look at their record at the end of the year. Or look at it when they play the better teams, what they do. Nothing. Well, we're going to supplement the running game throwing 2-yard, 3-yard passes. You know what you tell the defense is that we don't talk you that you got to throw the ball to get 5 yards. And if they got control over you like that, how you think that's going to turn out when you play in a better team? So, again, the philosophy of how Dak attacks is going to change. Now, that's going to be hard because he has been programmed to say, hey, don't worry about the offensive line. I'll be able to get it done. Don't worry about if we can run the ball and we get blown off the ball. We can't get it. I'll get it done. No, Dak. When you go to that sideline and y'all went out there to run the ball and y'all ain't run the ball, damn it, I want to see you get on the offensive lineman butts. I want you to see you get straight up crazy and tell them, say, hey, it's unacceptable that we can't run the football. That's what the great Roger Staubach did. The great Troy Aikman did. Emmett didn't have to tell him that. Dorsey didn't have to tell him that. The quarterback told him that. Because the quarterback understands the success of the running game is only going to make big plays for Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson to eat and eat big. Eat steaks, not chicken fingers. So this thing is going to change for that. Making positive plays, using the running backs in the running game, in the passing game, using the run game to set up the big plays. See, remember I talked about dropping that ball off to the running back and say you get a positive play? Let me tell you how Tom Brady used to work it, which was amazing. This is major. Listen here. Dropping the ball off to the running backs and being committed to the run game made Gronkowski a Hall of Famer. Nope. You said, well, what do you mean by that? Because Tom would go down the whole field. He won a Super Bowl by dropping the ball off to the running back the whole way down to the field to get a field goal to the Super Bowl. You ain't got to make those top red. If they give you that, bam, bam, bam. The next thing you know, you're in field goal range. That's not dumb football. That's what people talk about. Well, that's all you can do is dig and dunk. If we watch the drive, if y'all remember the Super Bowl that the one that the Kansas City beat the Eagles and the last drive that Mahomes did when they got down and won the game with a field goal. He threw a screen pass. He had one scramble. He threw another check down. He threw another check down, and they got all the way down into the scoring territory, and then they scored on a busted play. There wasn't no seam routes that he threw. There wasn't no over the top route. He threw a screen pass, two check downs, and ran the ball, and they scored. And he didn't care. Y'all say, "Oh, he didn't throw the ball between three guys." Those plays gonna come though. And let me tell you how Tom Brady used to do it. He would check down early in the game. And as soon as you start, that running back was making 8, 9 yards a time and make the defense. What I told you, every time the defense always have a positive play, it's demoralizing to the defense. You're like, oh man, we stopped, man. Second down, they got 8 yards. Man, 6 yards. First down. You get to the point, and then what happens is your linebackers start to inch a little closer to the flat because they're tired of trying to tackle these guys on the run. Everybody started to inch a little closer to the flat. And soon as Tom Brady come out, he faked the same route, and he looks at the running back. He just cut his eyes at the running back. They go charging over there, and he busts them right down the seam with John Costa or Hernandez. And bam, 20, 30 touchdown. Just that easy. Just on the illusion of dropping the ball over to the running back. Getting positive yards. Anytime you get a positive yard on the defense, I don't care if it's over 3 yards or 4 yards on the first and second down, it's your advantage. Advantage offense. Anything less than a yard, 2 yards, or a negative play is advantage defense. And Dak has to young line and say, hey, I'm going to utilize the skill sets of my teammates to make the game easier. Turpin got to get the ball, and if I'm Dak, it's going to be a thing that says, I got to get the ball to Turpin where he can get the ball on the move so he can make. I'd rather throw him a 7-yard pattern and he take it 50 yards. Guess what Dak got to have to start saying to himself? Guess what? I throw the ball 5 yards, he goes 50 yards, I get 55 yards of reception yards. And a touchdown. And I say, thank you, Turpin. That's how Dak has to play it. I got to be able to utilize my other guys. I don't want them to utilize them into just what they do well. I'm going to utilize that. I got to take my offensive lineman out, but I got to be on my offensive line to say, hey, man, I need you to protect me, but I need y'all to beat the hell out of these guys up front, and I need my running backs to get 100 yards. And we're going to run them till they get over 100 yards. I got to have the Dak Prescott to say, man, we run the ball like crazy on these guys. And the offensive lineman coming over the sideline talking about how they just busting up people. And guess what? I need the Dak Prescott going to say, hey, man, we got 3 running backs. Load it up. I need the Dak Prescott going to tell CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens on games like that and say, hey, man, we're going to go for big plays, but this, hey, man, we're going to lean on this running game. And guess what? If you're the leader, Dak, they got to be all right with it and shut their mouth and go along with it. Because I believe they'll believe in you. But you got to believe it though. So things are gonna change with Dak Prescott. Because if it don't change and things stay the same for Micah and Dak Prescott, there is no win for us, folks. It's time for the road to meet the road. And this is not saying, well, we putting the pressure on Dak, we got to win a Super Bowl. It's time for the rubber meet the road that these two leaders lead from the front, but they put the emphasis and the accountability on the whole damn team. See, the media is good for us to get us to think to say who's to blame. Oh, they're good for that. They know we jump all on that. But this team don't win. I don't blame Dak. I don't blame women. I blame the whole 53 roster they got there. I blame the cheerleaders all the way down to the ownership because until the people who clean up the stadium. Because true, you don't know, to win a championship, it takes everybody to do their part. This team is only good as the sum of its parts. This is the greatest team sport in the history of team sports. I need every unit out there says, I am the unit that's going to win us the Super Bowl. And if I don't do my job, we don't win the Super Bowl. I remember Kenny Gant, the Shark. And some of y'all old enough to remember the Shark that played defensive back for the Cowboys, the one that was a great special team guy. He did his special team dance. He felt that his kickoff coverage was the reason why the Cowboys was great. I'm telling you. Don't you know when you got a player that says, just because I go and make the plays on the kickoff team, that's why we are great? Don't you know you got a confidence in that football team that says everybody's being held accountable to do their job for us to get there? Yes. Somebody, and I need to do a little better job of listening to y'all the content. But I see somebody put up here, Chris, put up here about Hunter Lipkin being catching and blocking in the red zone. Let me tell you something. Let me give you this point. And y'all can take this to the bank. And don't listen to all these pundits that tell you about red zone offense. If you can't run the ball from 10 yards in, you're gonna be horrible in red zone. I'm gonna say it again. Kansas City do a lot of trickery, but most of the trickery is based off run action. Shovel pass to the running to the wide receiver, anything, but all of it. If you try to throw the ball and be a 100% throwing the ball team in the red zone in NFL, it's hard enough in high school, man. Let me tell you something. When you play in high school against good competition, it's hard enough in high school to throw the ball in the red zone. In high school, when you playing against what are they? Because the field is restricted. Now imagine you got better athletes. You put the restriction of the field. Players don't have to worry about you going over top of the head. They can see everything in front of them. The blitz is going to get there faster because you don't have that much time to react. If you can't run the ball and you don't have the will to run, guess what? You're not going to score in the red zone. You're going to be horrible. Now, you're going to have some play action, but all your play action passes, that's what works in the red zone because you have the ability to score with running the ball. But that's just a mentality thing. And I always say, man, we're not going to stay too much on it. I hope y'all learn something on this, man. like I said, man, everybody's in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all being in the chat. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe, man. Go ahead and make sure you share this content, man. If you can't do anything else, share this content. If you got in your heart that you can drop something in the cash app for Coach Marv so we can continue to grow this community, and you like this content, you try to grow things, please use this cash app here and send something. But just with your ability to send stuff into your own media stuff and share it with a comment saying what you feel about this is great. Follow me on Coach Marv. I'm at Coach Marv. I got a Coach Marv Facebook page. Coach Marv. Look me up. Send me a friend request on Coach Marv on Facebook. On X, I'm Coach Marv 1914. And of course, my channel here is Coach Marv Real Talk. Man, we just saying things of the real talk, man. And we always try to, at the end of the day, we want to always talk about this. And this is a dead period, but we are learning some interesting things. The culture is being set. Yes, we're trying to build this culture. You know, those 5 things that I said: the culture of building blocks, physicality, um, discipline, mental toughness, coaching/leadership, and talent. Those are the 5 building blocks you got to have, the foundational building blocks to a culture. And we are now trying to build those foundational things, man. Again, as my title said, what things are going to change for DAK and what things are going to change for Micah. And as we recap, things are going to change for Micah because he's going to be in a new leadership role. He's going to be definitely the leader of the defense. Just because you're the best player don't always mean you're the leader. Now he's going to be the leader, and he has to lead from the front. If you go back to my video in my playlist, I have a video with Michael's in the lion thing, and we saying, Michael, what's going to be expected? New role, new expectations, new role, and dominate from the front. And he has to dominate from the front. If this team is not good at the running game, I'm gonna look at Michael Parsons first. I'm not gonna look at the defensive tackles. I'm gonna look at Michael Parsons first. Because if this team is not good at the run game, stopping the run or being the container run, I'm looking at Michael Parsons first. He cannot delegate the mentality of what we are about to other people. He has to be what we're about. And if we can't stop the run, that's a reflection of him. You know what I'm saying? So you're a reflection of your leadership. And if he a leader, and if somebody call us soft, that's a reflection of him. And I've had players that been on there, and I've been on with players that say, hey, man, we ain't going to have no soft team with me on it. And that's been, I done had guys that I done played with that was defensive backs that said that, and they made linemen and linebackers get in check because they were the leader. Same thing with offense. Offense said, we ain't going to be no soft offense. Nobody going to come up. We going to be able to run the ball when we get ready to run the ball. And that don't even have to be a lineman. Whoever the leader. It's been guys who've been, that was been receivers I done had coached. And they made the lineman get it because the reflection of who we are is based off our leadership. And if Schottenheimer is trying to start a culture, he has to be the reflection of that culture. He has to be that. You can't give him no culture if he's not that. So he got to be a physical minded person. He's got to be disciplined in what he does and demand discipline. He's got to be mental tough to be able to get through adversity and show his players how to do that. He's got to be a great leader. And he got to know his talent and get his talent to play well. If Schottenheimer is not that, he cannot build a culture. So again, things are going to change for Micah, and things are going to change for DAK. DAK is going to be in the first time of a new philosophy in thinking from the new coordinators that coming in. They're going to be someone that's going to play off their play action. DAK has to get used to that thinking. DAK has to get used to what Schottenheimer is trying to get over to him. That is not about you, DAK. It's about us. And I got to remove some of you to make it easier for you to shine. And I got to put more emphasis on others. And Dak got to believe that. Utilize his run game, utilize his running backs in the run game. Just the thinking has to be that we're going to be. Not saying you're not a great leader, Dak, but great leaders show other people how to lead. And then when you're a great leader, you're going to show the offensive lineman how to lead. You're going to show the running back room how to lead. Somebody in that room to lead. Well, how to lead in the receiver room. Great leaders build great leaders. So, Dak, we want you to be that and take some of the pressure off of you and put the emphasis on us to bring it together. Man, I got some great content creators out there, man, that's been out there putting in much work. A lot of them is taking some time off now because they're saying, man, we loading up because once this thing starts in training camp in the next 4 to 5 weeks, there's going to be no all go, no breaks. But like I said, man, I'm growing. Please like, comment, subscribe, man. It's been a pleasure for me to talk football with you. Please share this thing, man, and let's believe that our leaders are going to have some things that are going to change with them, but they're going to be ready. We're going to be ready. But wait, right now, we've got to put the sweat in so we can come out victorious when the stuff hits the fan. Until next time, salute, Cowboy Nation.